everyone, my name is Sakshi and today in this video I'm going to talk about transfer of input credit, which is also known as input service distributor. So let's just start now.
According to Section 2, subsection 61 of CGST Act, ISD means an office of the supplier of goods or services or both, which receives the tax invoices issued under the Section 31 towards the receipt of input services and issue a prescribed document for the purpose of distributing the credit of central tax, state tax, integrated tax or union territory tax paid on the said services to a supplier of taxable goods or services or both, having the same PAN as that of the said office. In short, ISD distributes the input service credit to the main branches which are engaged in manufacturing the taxable goods. Short, ISD takes the input tax credit and distribute the same to the main branches which are engaged in producing or manufacturing the taxable goods or services. Now let us understand this with the help of an example. Let's assume that I am a manufacturer and I have my production unit in Surat and one is in Lucknow, and I'm making goods in both these units. And other than these both units, I have my head office in Mumbai too. Now, the concerned portion is that I am manufacturing goods in Surat and in Lucknow too. But in Mumbai, I have head office which manages all the administrative works such as marketing, advertising. Let us consider it more clearly that the goods which I am manufacturing in Surat or Lucknow, their advertisement has been done by the head office which is in Mumbai. So all the marketing work is managed by the head office. Sales promotion activity is also managed by the head office. All the main expenses of office is to be dealt with Mumbai head office. In short, all the administrative work is managed by head office only. Now, this is the topic ISD is totally about, that service tax which is charged on these services which is managed by head office, how is it is being distributed in all the other branches. So let's again take an example that good which are manufacturing in Surat or in Lucknow, their promotion or advertising is being done by the head office, and for the same purpose head office has appointed an advertising company or an agency. So now that agency works with the head office. So whenever that agency gives bill, that bill will be addressed to the head office, and since it will be addressed to the head office, then we don't have any kind of receipt or bill to take credit in Surat and Lucknow, because we don't have any document on Surat registration number and on the Lucknow registration number. So that's the reason we can't take direct credit in Surat and Lucknow. So to take that credit, we will register our Mumbai office, the head office, as an ISD unit, and then the credit will be taken by head office, and then the head office will distribute that credit to the Surat branch and to the Lucknow branch. This whole process is known as input service distributor. So the main reason behind this behind this topic is that input service distributor distribute the credit by taking credit on the receipt it has. Now there are some conditions, and one of them is credit available in a month shall be distributed in the same month, which means that if we are receiving credit in the month of January, then it should be distributed among all the branches within January only. The other conditions are that credits to be distributed through document prescribed, and total credit distributed shall not be exceed the credit available, which means that the amount which we are distributing to all our branches should not exceed the credit available for those particular branches. The third one is credit attributable to a recipient shall be distributed only to that recipient. So, to understand it more clearly, if the service is received by only one location, then the entire input credit on such service should be distributed to that location only. For an example, let's assume that XYZ Limited has a head office in Hyderabad and it has three branches, which is in Mussoorie, Kolkata and Vishakhapatnam. Now, the repairs were held only in the branch of Vishakhapatnam. The payment for repair was done by the XYZ Limited head office, which is in Hyderabad. Now, the input tax on that repair is paid by the XYZ Limited Hyderabad office, which is head office. Now, in this case, as the repair was conducted only in Vishakhapatnam, that's why the entire input tax paid by headquarter must be distributed to Vishakhapatnam branch only and not to the any other branch, which is Mussoorie and Kolkata. So the fourth one is credit attributable to more than one recipient shall be distributed among such recipient on pro rata basis of such turnover in a state during relevant period, which means, or first we need to understand what relevant period mean. So suppose that we have newly set up branch and we don't have its financial year turnover, then the last quarter for which turnover of all recipient is available previous to the month in which credit is to be distributed is to be taken as relevant period, and on the basis of that input tax credit will be distributed to all the branches. Now the next point is how input service credit is distributed. There are some criteria for distributing the input service credit to the branches, and the number one is that credit of central tax as central tax for a branch within the same state or as integrated tax for a branch outside the state. To understand it more clearly, suppose that there is a corporate office in of ABC Limited in Delhi and it has its four branches in Gurgaon, Mumbai, Chennai and Ahmedabad. In this case, the input tax credit of CGST held by corporate office in Delhi can either be distributed at CGST or SGST to its four branches. The input tax credit of SGST paid by corporate office in Delhi should be distributed by IGST to branch in Gurgaon, Mumbai, Chennai or in Ahmedabad. In short, that CGST can be credited as CGST or IGST within the same within the no CGST can be credited as CGST within the same state or can be credited as IGST outside the state. And the next one is credit of state tax as state tax for a branch within the same state or as integrated tax for a branch outside the state. As here the same rule applies. For an example, that XYZ Limited, a corporate office in Delhi, had two branches in Mumbai and in Kolkata, which and their business is of selling pencils. Now XYZ Limited also has another business of selling registers in Delhi with separate registration number but same permanent account number, which is PAN number. Now in this case, input tax credit of CGST, which is held by XYZ Limited within the Delhi, can be transferred to its another business in Delhi. But in case of input tax credit of IGST, it can be distributed to its another business in Delhi, not within the same state. So if in this case XYZ Limited has input tax credit of SGST, it can be transferred to its other branch in Delhi as SGST but or IGST to its another business in same state, in this case which is Delhi. So in short, SGST can be credited as SGST or HGST within the same state but with issuing a prescribed document with some proper authority. Now, the third one is that credit of IGST, which is interstate GST, is distributed as interstate GST only and not as any other kind of GST. The last point comes as recovery of excess tax credit, which is also known as, we can say it as a wrong distribution of credit. So in this case, if any input service distributor has distributed credit to the recipient in excess of permitted amount, in excess of which what should be distributed, now the excess of that amount is to be recovered from that branch with interest from such recipient. For this purpose, provision of section number 73 and 74 is also applied to determine the amount to be recovered and to be calculated accordingly. So that's all about the input service distributor. I hope it should be clear to you.